Well, hello everybody. I'm doing something that I promised that I would do a long time ago for my friends over at Unique Scrapbook, and that is to show you my crafting space. And I've put it off and put it off because it always seems to be in a bit of disarray, but it's actually put together right now because I've been too busy to get in there. So here we go. So the room is off the living room, and it has these sliding doors, which is nice. So I can be close, but private as well. So here we go. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's a tiny room. It's probably 8 by 8, but I'm going to show you when I'm inside and I close the doors off. It gives it a nice feel, like it doesn't feel closed in. When the doors are open, of course, then I can enjoy the outside, the living room. But let me take you around this room. So when we walk in to my right, sorry, I'm going to back up a little bit, just to give you kind of an overview and where my thought process was. So our house is fairly new. We had it built in 2019, and I had the space designed for myself. So there is matching cabinets in here that match with my kitchen. So when the doors are open, it does flow nicely. So they're all upper cabinets plus a desk. So I have lots of storage space. I should say lots. When we moved in here, I had an entire basement. So this is probably an 8 by 8 room. I had a lot bigger room back then. So there was a lot of downsizing that happened, but I am very happy with this space. So let's go to the right. So to the right, I do have some big dies, Tim Holtz dies, and these are the storage units that you could get way back when, and they are mounted to the wall, so they do store all my big dies. I haven't used them in a very long time. You can only use them with the Big Shot, and I have a Big Shot, but I just haven't used them. But I don't want to give them up neither. They are great dies. They'll cut through chipboard, plastic, fabric, all sorts of things. So I had a lot more than this, and I downsized the ones that I really wanted to keep. So over here is probably the one thing that I love the most. Found this at a indoor yard sale flea market, and each drawer is full of goodies, and this really picks up a lot of stuff. So just to give you an idea, and yes, I have a label maker, and each drawer tells me what it is in it. So this one's twine. I'll just open a few. Tim trinkets. So in here, there's all these little cases of little tins that has Tim Holtz trinkets, but it also has general little embellishments as well. What other one you want to see? Perfect pearls. Things I haven't used in a long time. Plus I have some Delusion sprays in there. I think you'll like this drawer. This is the sequence drawer. Look at all the pink fresh gems, like loaded. Do I need more? Of course. I'll find a spot. So what else? I have molding plates, liquid pearls, all kinds of goodies, more ribbon. Grunge. So anybody that has been a Tim Holtz fan for a long time understands the world of grunge. It's almost like a fabric, and there's some, you can probably not find it anymore, unless you are very fortunate. Embossing tools, and I have a few little wax seals in here as well. Tim items, so some fabric tape and other things. Oh, alcohol supplies. So it's just a way for me. Thanks, Michelle. I am organized. Everything has a spot, and when I'm done crafting, I will make a mess, but it all goes back in the spot. So I love this unit. Up here is my sewing machine, and this little spinning rack kind of has all the, I'm going to get to that, has all the mica stains, distress stains, and I don't have an overabundance of these. I do try to control myself a little bit. Up here is one of the projects that I did actually as a class at Unique. I love it. I did this years ago. It's teacups, and it had the distress inks on them. Have never updated them, probably with the last 12 inks, nor did I do it for the oxides, but I just like these little teacups. This is all the alcohol inks that I have. So it's a little sampling of that. And then when you open these doors, ta-da! Yes. So these are all my distress pads and oxides. So I put them in color families. So the oxides and the distress pads are together. So this is blues and purples. And they are the containers, the right containers. So, and there's my label maker again. So O means oxide, milled lavender, and then milled lavender distress. And that's how they're organized by color family. I have some very hard to come by Tim Holtz tissue paper. It's like I'm hoarding this stuff. And then I have this little acrylic bin with all the washi tape in it. Now there are some exceptions. If I have a new line that I haven't broken open yet, the washi tape may be with that new line. Back here, let me just move some things, is my overflow alcohol inks, but these are the containers, the proper containers for the alcohol inks, and I do have 3. So if you're an alcohol ink person, these are great. Oh, just hang on, I don't want to lose them. They are tucked in there quite nicely, and they do have like a little plastic, it's almost like an egg cup where they stick in there quite nicely. Let me get this back up there. So I have 3 full containers of those, and some alcohol and hand sanitizer. And then up here are my tins of the spritz. Shameful, some of them aren't even open yet, but I have 1 and a little bit. So like I said, I'm trying to control myself a little. I have some ultra thick embossing powder. There's a little acrylic bin that has extra felts and extra dome blending things. This is a punch, like a punch for holes. There's some paper from Unique and the color blocks. And then this is just an old dictionary that I do take apart. And in this bin is more like Tim Holtz products, some book covers, some old stickers, kind of some ephemera. So that is in that cupboard. And then up top is specialty bins. So I have 2 Christmas. So all the stamps, stencils, things that are very for Christmas and nothing else is up there. And there's one that's for winter and fall, but everything else is within my normal stash. This bin, so you're going to see a lot of these refrigeration organization bins. You can get them on Amazon. The dollar store does carry a version of them. They're not like exactly like this, but they do. And this I always keep full. So this is card fronts. They're all trimmed for A4 cards, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and there's white, cream, cardstock, and black, and then card bases, both for horizontal and vertical. And then on this side is kind of some specialty fronts that are cut, like some Strathmore smooth, so like watercolor, Prima, Tim Holtz black, Yupo, and different kinds of Yupo. There's the Duro bright alcohol ink paper, vellum, more watercolor, and onward. So anything that I have like a specialty item for cards, it is cut down and kept in this bin. So that is always full. So when we swing this way, I have a window. So that's a view to our outside. And here is just some old things. This is an old Vicky Boutin lunchbox that I purchased way back when. And I am a huge vintage lover. So there's some frogs here. And I really should have them out on my garden bench. But I do use them to hold up stand-up cards every now and again. This is a little creation my friend Michelle and I did a while back. And then just an owl mug that I use for putting water in for watercolors. There is a bin here. So on this side is my scissors, X-Acto knives, pokey tools. There's an old jar full of paintbrushes. And then on this side is kind of, oh, the scissors are in the wrong spot, is bone folders and some pens, erasers, undo, so a little bit of mixed variety. Down on the floor is a wire bin, and this has 8 1/2 by 11 paper. The only scraps I tend to keep are white, black, and craft, and everything else is like a heavy stock. There's vellum, there's hunky-dory, acetate, gold, shiny, gold matte, silver matte, silver shiny, and then some extra card stock that's kind of 8 1/2 by 11. We good so far? So then when I come this way, there is another kind of a bin, and it has the punches. I don't have a whole lot of punches, but these are my favorite kind of punches. And I know Unique said they were going to have some more of the edge punches at their next auction. I cannot wait. This is a very old project. Again, my friend Michelle and I did. We actually did it as a class when I owned a store, craft supply store. And it was using all Tim Holtz products, and each little square represented a technique. So that was fun. Have my Rolodex there. And then we have a bank of drawers down here. So the top one is chipboard, stencils, and alphas. I'm not sure how up to date my labels are because I did do a little organizing, but I think it still holds true. So I have some rub-on alphas, 39 market bag in there, but there's alpha stickers here. This is my Bind It little tool. And then these are all the large stencils. So ones that are larger than like a 5x7 or a 6x6. So these are all my Stamperia ones. I have a whole bunch of Lavinia, and then odds and ends. And there are some chipboard pieces down there. So this drawer is pretty much the same. Yeah, this is all stencils, guys. Got a problem, don't I? And then the next drawer is kind of all the other mediums that I have. That's not that you didn't already see as far as alcohol inks and distress pads. This was a swatch that I did of all the different inks that I did own at one point. This is not up to date, and I really should make a point in going through this, but that's how I store my color swatches. And then I have my Misties in here, just some gel pens. These are the kind of little cubes I have. They're all to new. I've had them for years, but I generally take these to crops, and that's the only thing I use them for. This is a cleaner for Misty. These are where I keep my archival inks. These are markers, the Tim Holtz water crayons. Down below are some other crayons. So this is like everything to do with stamping. Now I know that there's a new product out that's powder, and when you spritz it with water it kind of bursts into colors. I can't remember which company has it. And Heather might even have it in the store, but this is an old product from Magenta, which was in Quebec. It was a company in Quebec, and I used to design for them. So this is what this is, and I might use them soon. I really got to dig deep in my drawers here and get after it. So the bottom drawer, remember when I said I had a bit of an adhesive addiction and I can't let my drawer get unfilled? Well, this is all adhesive. So, pardon me, all the different score tape, all different pop dots, more foam tape, got some more pens here, some glue dots, refills of the art glitter glue. So this is all adhesive. I know, Michelle. And then when we come, maybe I'll stay lower and then we'll do the upper. So underneath here is an open space, and I'm just going to move my chair. So when I sit, I can reach everything that's on the lower level just by rolling around. I have to get up for anything on the top. But I have chipboard, and this slides out. This comes right out, this bin. I have my trimmers on top. And these are the bins that I got at the dollar store. So this is all my 49th and Market pads and washi and things like that. This is all journaling stamps. I have a die cut machine down there. In this bin is some Tim Holtz stuff. And then my sewing machine, adapter, and some threads. This little wagon comes out as well. So this one I got on Amazon. Oh, it's catching in my mat. And it's a handy, it's narrow, and it has all my pastes and gels. It has tools on this level, and then on the bottom is more tools, or are more tools like heat guns, embossing guns, my envelope maker, which I use all the time. And then way back there, it's stuff that I don't go after every day, but it's there. So in that bin that's got the blue handles, it's kind of everything that I use that's mixed media. There's a whole bunch of different mediums in there. There's all my paints from my gel press stuff, and some extra paper back there. So slide that in, and then underneath where I sit, this is kind of a new addition. I've seen these on Amazon, and it holds all my 12 by 12 paper. I love your use of space. Yes, it's tight, it is efficient, and that's when I say if I take in new stuff, it has to have a place to go. So I'm pretty proud that I kind of keep it in line. So that's all the 12 by 12 paper collections that I currently have. Now let's go to the top. So on the top, this is odds and ends, card envelopes and covers. So my big bites there. In this bin are my plastic envelope, like, you know, the holders for your cards after you're done making them, extra envelopes. These are extra envelopes, and up there is a big bottle of art glitter glue and just more envelopes. These over the door baskets, wire baskets, are really handy, and I'm thinking about getting a couple of more, but I'm trying to contain myself. And here we have lots of simple stories stuff by the looks of it, and all the cardstock from Unique that you can get, and just some odds and ends hanging from there. And then this was a Vicky Boutin class that I had did. So I like hanging things from the doors. It just makes it look pretty. Another project I did using mixed media. So inside here, up top, are completed journals, some old reference books, albums, like empty albums, Simple Stories ones. There's 49 Market, the Tim Holtz edition books of where he does all of his teaching. This is filled with stencils that are what I call the regular size stencils. So to store the stencils, they're in these little pouches, and I'm obsessed. I do label them because when I sell my products, when I need to make room and I need to sell off some stash, people like to know who they're by and what the name of them is. So they're in alphabetical order and just full of different companies. So these are all stencils. Some of them never used, shameful. And then I have like a stash of stencils just for jelly print that don't get mixed up in this because they're full of paint. So those are down underneath where I showed you all my jelly plate stuff is. Like Vicky Boutin, more Vicky Boutin. So there's a whole bunch of stencils in here. There's a few journaling books that are like just small journaling books. So this is one of those refrigerator bins in this size. These are 2 metal containers, and they're just full of kind of odds and ends. Mostly the enamel dots, like there's a feather, a random feather, the old Your Next stamp gumdrops. So just lots of odds and ends, but mostly the dotted enamel things. And then back there is another bin. And it said chalk inks, but that's not what's in here. In here is, again, Bo Bunny. Like, this stuff is old. Doilies, eyeballs. It's kind of like odds and ends. The old kind of brads. And these used to be like the ones with the legs. And they're very old, but they're kind of timeless. I don't generally keep things that I don't think will ever be used in anything. Oh, there's some Vicky P from Stamperia, some of her stuff. So that's what's in those. And then, of course, you've seen my Memory Decks little holder with all the All & Create Memory Decks dies. This bin will hold all my 6x6 pads. And then down here are all the dies. I shouldn't say all of them. Tim Holtz has his own section in my cabinet. But I'll take down one. Oh my mercy, they're heavy. Just hang on. So these are those refrigeration bins. And made these tall, cut the decorative edge, and then these are all dies related to border and frames from all kinds of companies, and they're stored If they're really tiny and loose, I put a piece of magnet sheet in, but they're stored on those little plastic envelopes, and of course they're labeled. And then I have one because I love circles. I have one on all my circles, cover plates for stitching, cross stitch dies, doilies, and so on and on. So everything has its spot. Like interactive means it's like A2 slider die. So it's the die to make those kind of cards. What's this one? My favorite things outside the box. So like I have some of those interactive. There's letters, there's leaves and trees, and then I have a whole another one that's like odds and ends, postage stamps, etc., etc. So all the dies are in there, with exception to Tim Holtz and some of my All in Create. So that is that cabinet. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. And down below is just like this little tier shelf. It allows me to put my, oh my God, what's that called? Gemini Junior in there with the plates. This bin is more of the pre-cut card bases. And also in here are the unique photo mats. But I also have in here all the, I'll have to take this out. Just hang tight. I should have had another set of hands doing this. But I went to town one weekend and I took all the All in Create layered up tape that I had, and I did them all. So some of them I've already made into cards, but there's a whole lot here that I haven't done anything with yet. So they're just kind of sitting here waiting for me to get into the groove to make more cards using the All in Create layered up. My little sidekick, these are some of those storage units that's on Unique for when you have itty bitty stuff. This is my embellishment album that I've showed you guys before. And then there's my little workstation for my Olo markers. The holder I got on Amazon. I had it before Olo came out with their own storage unit, but it works good for me. And then up here in this corner cabinet, there's extra specialty paper, label maker, photo printer, sewing kits, mink. Well, it says mink, but I don't have a mink anymore. I broke it. I just have a laminator. And also extra of my favorite cardstock, which is the Nina 80 pound and Nina 110 pound. Got some copy paper for gel printing, and just if I pick up packages of other brands, like I have some Prisma paper that's 110 pound, it goes in here, waiting until I need it, cut it up. In that colorful box is my Epson printer. All kinds of floss up there for when I do my stitching with the spell binders. Sewing box. Keep my label maker in here. And this is where I have all the bags and paraphernalia that I use when I'm packaging, like my dies and my stamps. So there's some pieces of magnetic sheet, more magnetic sheet. And these were where I got some of the sleeves, was crystal clear bags, and I put onto them the size. So this is like for very small, but these here die stamps, these are pouches that now Avriel has, or Hero Arts. So this isn't really right, because I got the Hero Arts ones, and that's what I store like a lot of my dies and my stamps in. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the corner. And then if we swing over here, this is kind of the station that I use when I do my videos. There's the camera. That That little piece of art up there was ones that I did in vintage again. Some old loose tea cans. And I have paper clips in there and safety pins and things like that. And of course Tim Holtz wishbones, just because. An old ruler. And this is a vintage match, like the long matchstick holder. And that's where I hang all my dangles. Even though I now use the glue gun, I still buy these because I love them. And then there's the glue gun. My glass mat stays on my station. And lots of paper clips, little trash cans. And now what you guys really want to see. So there's another basket up there with Tim Holtz stuff into it, like tissue paper. There's some ephemera. This is an old class that I did with Tim Holtz. And it's all on different techniques, which is so much fun. And way up top there is a vintage card holder, which I use sometimes if I go to market with my cards. There's like one of those postage trays. Framed layout of me and Tim the Man himself. And then this was a large project that I did when my kids graduated from high school, and they asked me to take it down because they're 30 now. So I did take it down this year, but I tucked it up there. So in here, we have all of my stamps. So I'm just going to back up, but they're stored the same as how I store my dies, with some exceptions. So Tim Holtz has his own bin, Tim Holtz, and it's all his stamps, with exception to Christmas. Remember, Christmas is up top. This is another Tim Holtz bin. And in here are the embossing folders, more stamps. I do have Simon Hurley foam up here. And I think there might be a few Spellbinder 3D folders in here just because I didn't have any other place to put them. And Tim Holtz, yes, he gets a third bin. And in here are stencils and then all of his dies. So because their dies come in their own packaging, I don't have to worry about making another package. But I always trim down the die cover to fit in. If it doesn't fit, most times it fits in nice, and then the dies just slide in there. So these are all Tim Holtz. We now have a bin for All and Create and Elizabeth Craft. Mostly it's All and Create. So we have a couple of large Elizabeth Crafts that I sit back there, and I did fit most of, this is no longer Pink and Main stuff, it's just one of their bags, but a lot of Elizabeth Craft dies are in there. But yes, All and Create, all their kind of ephemera pieces, and then of course all their stamps. So for the All and Create, these ones I decided to not repackage these ones, because after I use them several times, I kind of resell them. So these are just in their originals, but some of them, this is a Hero Art fold little envelope, one of the nice plastic ones. So I take the cover off the stamp, slide it in, and the stamp is just back there. And then I label it with All and Create and the name of the stamp. So that's kind of all, and the stencils for All and Create are in here. This is getting pretty packed though, so I might have to move my stencils to my stencil bin. But right now, this is all the All and Create stuff. The only All and Create that's not in here are the Rolodex dies. And they have their own special place. I'll just leave that down there for a minute. So when we get up here to all the other stamps, I'll take down one to show you. Like all this bin are all backgrounds. This bin are 49 Market, Ciao Bella, Vicky Boutin, Visible Images. And then this one is all sentiments. So there's all occasion, birthday, congratulations, so on and so forth. And then this one is odds and ends. But I'll take down one. Here, let me grab the sentiments. So this is how I store them. It's those plastic bags or plastic envelopes, Hero Arts, Avriel, whichever brand you find. And I get the ones, it's called for the regular stamps. I use my label maker, label them, and then I slide in the packaging and then just the stamps. So, and it stays quite nice. Like they stay, they don't bend or flop. Like there's some Taylor Expressions. This is an old one from oh my gosh, Creative Memories. No, Close to My Heart. I don't have, that's the only one I own. But like all these stamps are in there. When I first started doing this, I wasn't saving the packaging. So I inserted a white mat to be the background for my stamps so that I could read the stamps. And this is not my idea. This is a Jennifer McGuire thing. So I was addicted to how she organized. And this is how she organized with these plastic folders. And she would put a white piece of cardstock and then the stamps. But now I mostly keep the cardstock that the stamps come on themselves, but I still label. So that's how I organize the stamp. Quite a collection, yes. And Angela, when I say I've downsized, like this is an 8x8 room. I used to have an entire basement. So when we moved into this house, I shed a few tears. Up top are the things I don't use very often anymore because Unique stopped carrying them. So while I'm creating for them, I don't feel it's fair if I use things that they don't have. So there's some Pink Fresh dies and stamp combos up there. And then there's 2 bins full of Lavinia. So some of you might have heard of Lavinia. It's very fairy-ish, like fairies, but I just like their backgrounds and things. So there's 2 bins up there, and they stay up there because, like I said, I don't think it's fair that I use things and post for Unique that you can't get. So I hope this was helpful. And we're back at the doors. And just to show you that, yes, you can really put a lot in a small space if you keep yourself organized and purge along the way. Like I really have to do that. So, Angela, I know you see what I order. And that's why I'm so, now when I create with a line, like when I take one of these bags of 12 by 12 paper and embellishments out, that's why I like using it all, because I don't want to put anything back. So that is it for the tour. Thank you, Michelle. I do love my craft room. It is my space, and I really don't want it any larger because it will just be more things that I'll collect that I won't use. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy this. I would love to see your space because you can get ideas from everybody and how they store things. So please, if you're going to post a video, tag me. I'd love to see it. Chat later and have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Bye-bye.